Yes, guys. Welcome to another edition of Matt's Top Tips. Today, what I'm going to be telling you about is the perfect headshot. Now, this is a terribly misunderstood little process in an actor's kind of journey. All right. They get it so wrong. I mean, I look on like Actors UK, I look in these forums and people post on these headshots, you know, different levels of professionalism, and they'll be saying things like, what's my type? What part do you think I should go for? Or what part would I be cast as? And it's just not like that. So let me go back and let me explain it for you. Okay, so what is a headshot? Basically, it's the kind of first thumbnail, the first visit to your CV and profile. Okay, it's the first thing that anybody sees. So let's take it from an agency perspective. Like, I'm an agent, so I see the most detailed, wonderful, descriptive character breakdowns, and a lot of the directors are very descriptive, and the casting directors forward those on. They will include the personality traits of the character. They will include the archetypes, the personality traits, the real depth of what that character is and is about, and what motivates that character. Now, really what you'd want is to have a photo in your selection, or even as your main photo, that instantly gives a sense of that character. And when it gets to the casting director has a brief window to look at your CV and look at your headshot and think, I can see those personality traits, I can see those particular motivations, character motivations in that singular particular shot. And then they look further into your CV. So that's what you're hoping for. That'd be, in an ideal world, that'd be fantastic. Okay? Not always going to happen. You're not always going to have the right photo for what they've got in mind, etc. It can be a bit of a lottery. But you have to have a very good standard of headshot. Okay? It has to be pretty much shoulders. Okay, kind of passport. You have to make sure it's of a very good quality. And you know, you do have to take a risk. You do have to do something with that shot. You have to make it about your own personality traits. Now, there's a few problems with actors up and down the country. The first one is lots of actors begin acting as a bit of a ego boost. So they think that they are an action hero. Okay, so many actors I've seen. So they will pull or distort faces to look like an action hero, you know, or they will certainly try and be a type, but it's a type that is just not them. You can't lie to a camera. You are what you are. So the most successful actors know exactly what they are within the personality traits, without reaching, without trying to be something that they are not. And they effectively put that out in their headshot with a photographer that knows how to bring out that person's type, the person's personality traits. And that's a big part of it. Get a photographer that is very good at getting somebody's personality traits on camera. We work with a guy called Robbie Chilton, who's like a world famous portrait photographer, and he is the absolute best at being able to get to a person's core, root them out and bring them out on camera. So yeah, Robbie Chilton, look him up on Instagram. Absolutely, for me, the best photographer out there. As well as that, with regards to headshots, is we live in an Instagram generation, right? So a lot of people aren't comfortable with a headshot that doesn't look like an Instagram model photo. Does that make sense? And it doesn't work. Basically, if you want your archetype to be kind of Instagram model, you know, that type of thing, you know, where you're pretty much blanked out, you know, and that's about it, you're going to be very limited to your choices. So my advice is get the ego out of your headshot. It's a marketing tool, okay? It's nothing to do with ego. It's not an Instagram shot. It's not a selfie. It's not a chance to pout. It is a headshot. It is something very different. I used to do something quite mean, and that is when people used to send me through a load of headshots and say, which one do you think I should use? I always used to pick the one that I knew they would hate the most, or I used to ask them to tell me the one they hated the most, and I'd say that one. Do you know what I mean? Because I knew that that shot would be the one that would probably have the most personality, because their ego was out of it. Their ego was out of making the shot. The ego was away from that shot entirely. And do you know what? A lot of times it would probably have the most chance of getting them the role, because vulnerability and all of these senses, you know, when we take the ego out of it, we are there with a flawed person. And if you can see that in a shot as a casting director, you've got more chance of giving that person and matching them up with these flawed characters that they're casting. So there we have it. I'm going to try and conclude by saying headshots, professional. Know yourself, take the ego out of it. Be very truthful about who you are. Make sure you get a photographer that can bring that out on camera. Okay? Well lit. Make sure that you dress as you dress. Okay? Gone are the days of just a black t-shirt and a blank background. Okay? With regards to backgrounds, very, very quickly, I have no problem with blank backgrounds. I also have no problem with kind of textured backgrounds. I would just say not too busy, because you want the focus to be here, okay? And you don't want to take away from your personality. As well as that, try and everything decision you make around that headshot, make sure it goes into what your personality type is, your personality traits are, so that you represent them, and have a series of personality traits, knowing exactly what you are truthfully, not what you want to be, what you actually are. And the strongest actors in this industry know exactly what they are. The good, the bad, the ugly. And by the way, the ugly is the best part to know, because that's the flawed part, that's the vulnerable part. And actors that know their flaws and their vulnerabilities are the best actors out there. I hope that helps.